Hey everyone, VortexTCG here, and today I've got the final round of locals of me playing Rival Hunters, and my opponent is going to be playing KingSukamon, a very fun deck that came out I believe in like BT11, but has been having a little bit of support now and then through the past couple of sets. If you're looking forward to this video, by the way, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It does mean a lot, and got some more content coming out soon, including the Rival Hunters deck profile. So starting off this game, I promote the Digimon here, thinking about the Iru effect, and I believe I will do the Iru effect because all of his stuff is low DP value, but it's weird. Sometimes you just don't want to delete all these low DP value guys because they're low DP for a reason. You're supposed to get a bunch of advantage from them. But I swing into security with the Digimon, draw a card, and then put it underneath the Iru. Swung with the Opossum as well, and then I just end the turn by playing Ren Tabari. He promotes the Chumon here, goes into the Numemon. Then it considers potentially going into the level 5 here. I believe in this case it will be the Airmon, which does minus 3k and minus security plus 1. Security attack minus 1 even. So I hatch. And I'm thinking about putting something underneath, but I do. I delete the Chumon here. I go into the Digimon. And even though I have minus security, I'm still able to swing at security. It just won't do anything essentially, so it does matter in some situations. But I decided to go into the Astamon here for a reduced cost of 2, going into it for 1, playing out the Arrestadramon here, considering if I want to go into the Quartzmon. I do have it in hand, I'm just thinking if I want to because of the advantage. But I decided to go into it. So I go to 4, draw, effect, suspend everything, and then I'm able to gain 2 memory for having 4 things in suspended. And yeah, I mean, this is what the deck is obviously supposed to do. It's very good in this situation, but my opponent isn't done obviously. He's going to go into the Metal Etamon, reveal top 4, and he's able to play a lot of those guys, the Sukamons, which these are the things I definitely don't want to delete, because if I do delete them, he gains, I believe, some searches, and if I delete a lot of them, he's then able to use KingSukamon to essentially turn off my Quartzmon for a turn. So I swing with the Digimon here, I get a draw off the money and then put the Digimon underneath. I swing with the Quartzmon, suspending one of the Sukamons, trashing the top card of security and then doing 1 check and drawing like 4 cards. It's pretty insane, is what it is. I delete the other Sukamon here just so that he doesn't have an easy way to answer the field, maybe if he has more Digimon in hand that can help him do that. And now I just pass the turn to him with free memory, play out the Ryoma from the Opossumon ability. Now my opponent goes into the Cho-Hakkaimon, which is a bit worrying because Cho-Hakkaimon really does mess with my deck, quite honestly, because I'm paying a lot of memory to go into the Quartzmon, and if I swing with a Quartzmon, that's not going to be a good situation. He then goes into Omnimon Swart, which is very powerful this deck. Hopefully Etamon is able to, or Suka is able to get a lot more support, but he plays out 2 Etamons here, which is crazy to me. And here I think we were just discussing something, so he was wondering why, like, oh, why should I stop one of them from swinging, because he thought that like if I it doesn't matter who got security at -1 because I was able to swing anyways. But I told him that, hey, if I don't have security at -1, if I have security at -1, I can't swing for game. Same reason why you can't swing for the game with piercing, essentially. So so he decides to do it to my Opossum and the Quartzmon, which is perfectly fine. However, the Quartzmon is definitely supposed to be unsuspended at this point, I believe. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's just an important thing to note in this situation. I'll do it there just to make sure, just to not confuse my opponent. I swing at security, but it does nothing because obviously it has -1. But I do draw 4 cards, which is very important to me, because Turns out if you're able to draw 4 cards a turn from just swinging, it's pretty good, to say the least. So I go into the Yasuyamon in Raising here because, I mean, I don't really have much choice. And essentially I'm just trying to remove as much memory that you can gain. So I play the Watchmaker here, and I don't know why I suspended the Ryoma here. It shouldn't be suspended, but don't think it really matters. But I play the Watchmaker to get some searching, just to give him 1 memory because, well, don't want him to get much memory. He swings with the Atomon, doesn't die to the security, and then he plays out the Metal Letter, which allows him to play the KingSuka here, which is very nice for him because it essentially, well, I wouldn't say it buys him a turn, but you know, it's fun because now he gets to turn my Quartzmon into a Sukamon token. So he's getting his tokens out here. These are really cool, by the way, I have to admit. So doesn't really matter though, unfortunately, because I can still swing with the KingSuka tokens. So I swing and win game 1. We then get into game 2 and my opponent gets to start off here. He goes into Cho-Hakkaimon and then the Sukamon, so he's able to get some searching going on pretty early here, hopefully. I go into the Sukamon here, and here I decide to Digicross for a cost of 3, playing out the Irie from the Opossum ability. He promotes the Sukamon, and he's considering swinging here, but he decides to go into the Etamon here, which provides him with a nice blocker, and if he does hit a Metal Letter in the effect, he will be able to get a lot of bonuses, let's put it that way. I thought, like, hey, let's just have a little bit of fun, shall we? So I did minus 2k to the Airmon. I'm very well aware that this is probably not what I should be doing at all, but I thought it would be fun, see how far Airmon can really go. So I used Cho-Hakkaimon to do minus 3k and then swing with using the Opossum to do the minus 2k. He hits the Metal Airmon, which allows him to do a lot more here. And then he forgot about the on-play effect, but it gets a little bit crazy here, let's put it that way. So he's considering what he wants to play, and so I think I'm just reading here just to make sure the card is correct. And man, this is about to get a little bit crazy, let's put it that way. So here I was just confused about, like, I think this is the Gunemon. You can't play the Gunemon here, which is a bit unfortunate, but the fact that he was able to go into a level 6 for free and then able to go into a Tumon, which is pretty nice, but oh man, it just got a lot more worse, didn't it? I can't believe I'm saying this in 2023, if I'm being honest, but Omnimon Zwart Defeat comes out. Man, I really love this card. I think the artwork is insane, and it's a bit unfortunate that it's kind of just like fallen out of favour, especially as Death X is in the game. I'd really love to see more Omnimon's War. I know we're getting it in EX4, but I don't know. There's something about this BT5 version which just it just feels different. I don't know how to explain it. So he's been able to go off a little bit here, going into the Gunemon to discard 1 to draw 2. He also has the Tumon. He goes into the Etamon to do minus 3k and secure attack minus 1 to the Sukamon, which allows me to draw 1 from the money and then save underneath the Iru. So he's got a really big board here. I mean, with the way that things have gone so far, he might be able to go for game on the following turn. So at this point, I've got to really step up my A game, don't I? So here at this point, I'm just figuring out, is there a way that I can essentially stop my opponent from advancing the board state to a point where he can win on the following turn. And unfortunately, I do have that card in my hand. I go Watchmaker, and I'm able to add the Cho-Hakkaimon and the Iru here. Very useful for clearing a board for sure. And then I play Gipt Particle Cannon. I can play this because I have a Hunter in the field, but it suspends everything, and nothing unsuspends during the unsuspend phase. So if I'm able to survive this turn, I think I have a pretty good shot, even though he's got like a crazy board. He's also got 9 memory, so he's pretty stacked. He goes into the Metal Etamon here, gets to play the Sukamon from, I believe, BT3, and you can see how wide his board is going. He goes into the Garymon, trashing 1 to draw 2, and what's that on the board right now? It's got 7. It's gone to the Sukamon here for another on deletion effect here. Then he plays, I don't know what this card is, but I think it's the Tumon again. Apologies for the glare. So here I've got no choice but to go all out essentially. So I use the Ryoma effect to put the Yasumon underneath. And now I'm just considering if I do have the full maths essentially ahead of me here. So I also put one underneath the, well, considering put it one underneath the Iru here. So I use both Ryoma and Iru to go into a level 4 here, which is the Digimon, get to draw a card. And I don't know if I really want to go into anything else, but I do have the Astamon here for a cost of 3, using his effect to play the Yasumon and then digivolving into a Quartzmon for a reduced cost of 6. So using the Yasumon effect to put the Tamer down, then using the Wind Digivolving to suspend everything, and then gain a lot of memory. So I will go to 2, or my opponent will go to 2. So yeah, I mean, it's not a great situation for my opponent to be in, because he's obviously gone wide just to try and make sure that I can't suspend or delete everything that he plays out. But when you do this and I have the Quartzmon in hand, it really does feel very punishing. But it's like, it was very fun. I can't, well, not like in this situation, but just like playing against like Etamon, and even like for this deck to go to like the edge of like defeat, like it's quite interesting that, like, I think Etamon / Sukamon has like this weird power dynamic where like it can obviously do very, very well, but the conditions have to be very specific, and you have to be very lucky. And I think that fits the character. I haven't really watched the Digimon anime, so I'm not 100% sure about the character, but in all of his card art, it looks very like cheeky, mischievous, and everything like that. So it's very interesting, to say the least. But he does get to turn my Quartzmon into a KingSuka, which is very, very powerful for my opponent. Let's put it that way. I start putting stuff underneath my Tamers because I kind of have to at this point, if I'm being honest, just to prepare if I need to go into something in the future. So I can still swing with the KingSuka. Obviously I don't want to, especially when I don't get any of the minus DP or the draws associated. So it doesn't feel very good, to put it that way. So I use Watchmaker to give the Yasumon a security attack +1. I tap 3 here to go into a level 5, which is the Cho-Hakkaimon. So I do, I can do a lot of minus DP here, but the thing is that I don't really want to, because what I want to do is essentially swing with the Quartzmon and trash a lot of security. But depending on the results, it might be different. So I swing 2 times. I hit the Metal Etamon, which is very unfortunate for me, but it is what it is. As long as the Quartzmon is still up and running, I'll be able to do a lot here. And my Quartzmon becomes a Quartzmon again, and not a KingSuka token. So feeling pretty good about that. So unfortunately, my opponent still is unable to unsuspend. I don't think Etamon has enough space to essentially deal with like these conditions. So he plays the blocker Metal Etamon here, giving me, I believe, 6. I swing with the Quartzmon, suspending the Etamon, and then swing in for game.